Hi everyone, I'm going to do a cover to one of my art journals today, and it's going to be with magazine pages, and it's in continuation with this technique that I've showed you I think 2 or 3 videos ago. Now this one got a lot of questions that I want to answer, and first of all someone asked me to show it from up close, and these are all magazine pages that I've glued down and used acetone on it. Now I will put a link below to this video in if you didn't see it. Now today I'm not going to do this technique, no acetone needed. I just want to use magazine pages. I'm trying to do more art journaling mixed media with things that we all have at home, especially that most of us are on lockdown. So what I'm moving this for now, and this is one of the journals that I finished, and I want to do some fun cover. Now when I did the other one, I started tearing up magazine pages, gluing them down, and then used acetone to remove the ink, and that's what created the like marbled look. But I've noticed that I really like how it looked even before I used the acetone. So I figured let's try and do something fun, and I've taken some magazines I have, and for this you can use whatever you have, and it doesn't have to be magazines. It can be like this, like the IKEA catalog. But what's great about magazines, especially if they are like about interior decoration or about fashion, you will find pages that are all coordinated in terms of color. So even the IKEA catalog, if you will look at it, if you have it and you look at it, you will see that the colors are coordinated. It needs to be pleasing to the eye. So that's what I went for, and I'm going to show you an example of what I did, so you will get what I'm aiming for. So one of these magazines was with a lot of denim fashion, and I really liked it, and just took a lot of pieces and glued them down to this just boring 12 by 12, and now I have this, which I really like, and already itching to use it in some artwork. And I've taken more pages from another magazine. I really liked all these yellows, oranges, and did this one again. Just you can do it on anything you want. I just like to use all kinds of things that I don't use, like 12 by 12 that I don't like. I don't like these stripes. So now I've got this. So what I'm aiming to do in this cover is first of all I'm planning on some reddish colors, and I've picked this. It's the continuation of this. I have more of this red here and here, and it's also with all kinds of browns, and this is from the IKEA catalog. So, and I've got from, that's what I was saying about coordinating colors in magazines. So what I want to do is just start tearing pieces and gluing them down on my cover. You can do it wherever you want. Now I'm going to use a stick glue glue stick, and it's flimsy paper. It doesn't need to stick it down to whatever you're using. It doesn't need anything more than a glue stick. I will go over it later with something to seal it, but for right now I'm just using a glue stick. Now in the other video I used white glue for that technique, and you can use whatever you have, but when you are using something very flimsy and very low quality of paper, then just go with a glue stick. It doesn't need anything more, and it's less messy. While if I used a white glue on this, I can work with white glue, but I will have to be very careful because it will crumple and not be so good. But you can work with it. It's so a lot of questions were on the last project, and let's see if I remember everything. There was a question if you can use other kind of focal point that is not a paper napkin. Of course you can. I use the paper napkin first because I really like them. Second, I've got lots of them. Third, because I have a lot of them, then I have also, let's say, focal images that come from them. So that's what I'm using. The last reason is that while using a paper napkin, it's a little bit translucent, and then when you're gluing it on top of the torn magazine pages, then a part of the pattern is shown through. But you can pick any kind of a focal point and use it on the torn magazine pages and just have fun with it. It doesn't have to be a paper napkin. Now, I was asked about what kind of paper I'm doing the projects on. Most of my journals, like this one and others, are just sketch paper. Now, it's not supposed to be for mixed media, but I find that I can work with it fine, and I buy them at the cheap store. And the only thing that I do is that when I'm using glue, I will use, like if I want to put any kind of collaging on top, then I will try and use the glue sparingly. I don't want puddles, because then the paper will warp. But even a page that warps can be fixed and flattened. But if from the first I will use something like a sponge brush, then I won't have puddles of glue. And if I can work with a glue stick, all the better. So most of my art journals are on sketch paper, and it works for me. Use whatever you can get your hands on. I've done lots of videos that show that you can even do an art journal in a newspaper. It really doesn't matter. I don't think so. I think that you can use whatever you have. I even showed I've done an art journal in the brochure, so you can do whatever you want. So I'm just continuing tearing paper, and I'm trying to think what other questions they were on the last project. And I'm just spreading these pieces around and I tried to keep the darker ones to the edges, but you don't have to. This is really a no thinking zone, just putting it down, and I'm going to switch to something else now. This kind of background does not have to be with magazines. I just figured why not use them. You can use your painty papers, your jelly prints, your any kind of pattern paper that you like. Just have fun with it. It doesn't even have to be coordinated. If you want a very a colorful background, go for it. I will show you an example. This was done with leftover of my painty papers. It was on one. I just tore them down, but this is, I just took leftovers and glued them down. Again, just tearing up the papers and gluing them, no thinking, and having fun with it. So you can also go very colorful. Now, if I am using all kinds of pattern paper or all kinds of colors, then I'm just trying to make sure I have it everywhere. I don't want one color or one pattern only in one place. So that's basically what I'm doing. And I don't want this. I want something else now. Let's see, I've got this rug here that can work very nicely in adding interest to my background, and not only solid color. And I do try to use the ones that have straight edge to my edges, just so I won't have to trim a lot when I'm finished. But you can also stick it as you want and just trim later if you are not concerned about it. So as you can see, again, just spreading from this paper all over. Really doesn't matter where everything goes. Here we go. So this is going to take some time, and here is another red magazine paper. Just trying to make sure that I have lots and lots of a color and interest. And this time, as you can see, I'm just keeping it in the red family instead of doing something very colorful. So this is going to take quite some time to glue all these pieces, so I'm going to come back when I finished putting down all the pieces, and I'm going to go over all of this with either white glue to seal it or with my matte medium. Don't really care, just want everything to be stuck down and secure. It really doesn't matter, use whatever you have. I've got matte medium again from the cheap store, and I didn't find anything that was exceptional about it that I have to use this instead of white glue, but I do want to use it before it's dry or something, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just use it and that's it. So I'm going to keep putting down this torn paper, and I'll be back. I'm back. So here is my cover. Now you have more option to go with it. First of all, if you don't like this white edging, you can go and add some color. You can just take some markers, felt pens, and go around. You can also do, and I'll demonstrate it like here. If I have these pieces that I really don't like, they turned out too almost like white, and if I want to cancel all this white, then I can just go with a little bit of acrylic paint, the very runny one, cheap one, and with a baby wipe just add color like so. Let's try not to go on my cover, and you want it's more orangey, just add orange. I'm just demonstrating now how I've added some yellow to the mix, and you can work on it as much as you want. You can stencil on it. If you want to stamp on it, it would be difficult because now you have texture. If you want a fine print, then use the backing of a paper napkin, stamp on it, and then glue it down. Now this comes to another question about the paper napkin that I've glued to the other project. Someone told me she always gets bubbles. Let me explain how the bubbles appear, and it's not only with paper napkins. No matter what you are gluing, any kind of paper, if here you missed a spot, and now you're taking another piece of paper on top of it and gluing it down and putting now some more glue, where you missed it there will be a bubble of air, and it's with any kind of paper. So that's the bubbles. So you just need to be sure that you covered everything with glue. Now I want to start stenciling on my background. I've picked this stencil. I think it's from Deco Art, I'm not sure. And let's see, I'm taking some makeup sponge and black, and I want to add interest to my background. So I was trying to think on all the questions I've got about the other project, and one of them was about the acetone. So I didn't know this, but here we always used acetone to remove nail polish. It seems like in other places that's not the case, but here that's what we always used until recent years, when there started to be all kinds of fancy products to remove nail polish that's supposed to be not as smelly as acetone, and of course then they want more money, but basically they are doing the same thing. So for the other project you can use either acetone or any kind of nail polish remover. The only thing is, from my experimenting with the technique, is that it doesn't, and I told you, I've said it in the video, it doesn't work on all kinds of magazine pages. It probably depends on the quality of the print. That's the best I can do in terms of explanation. So as I said in the video, first try on a small piece of magazine, see if it removes the print, and if it does, use this use it in your project. So, and another thing was that someone told me that at least in the US, in dollar stores, there is a product called, I think it was Awesome, and it's supposed to remove ink, and so it would probably be also something that can be used to remove the ink from the magazine pages. And what else? Oh, and there is another reoccurring comment that I get about the sound. Now, I'm really not an IT support, but I do check my videos and the sound is fine. So what does that mean? And it's only from my experience, because I had this difficulty that I didn't hear a video and I didn't know why, and only from trying all kinds of things I discovered there are several settings of volume. There is for the YouTube video itself, there is for your browser, and browser I mean if you are using a Firefox, Explorer, Google Home. So there is also these settings of volume, and there is also for your device. If you are using a computer or tablet or whatever, there are settings of volume for that also. So you really need to check all those settings, and then you will find what's not working for you. But otherwise I don't do anything about volume. I don't have a microphone. I'm just using my cellular phone. That's it. That's what I'm using to record these videos, and it's hanging here above my head, and that's it. Very low tech. So as you can see, I'm just putting some interest into the background. I think it also makes it come together, all these torn pieces that we have. And there are all kinds of technique for this kind of background, and you can do whatever you like, whatever you, and use whatever you have. I didn't even, I don't have to stencil on this. I could easily just left it as is, but I thought it would be more interesting to add some stenciling. Now, because I've sealed all this with the matte medium, or even if I use the white glue, it doesn't matter, then I have like a very smooth surface, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to stencil on it. It's like I've made it glossy. It's not absorbent anymore. That's the best explanation I can give you. And I'm thinking, I thought about putting some letters and numbers, but I'm rethinking it, and no, not going to put this. I'm just going to do one more here. Yeah, let's see. Just a little bit more. And I'm thinking now that I want to darken the edges, and I don't think that ink from an ink pad will work, because I've sealed everything. So I have excess paint here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over the edges with my sponge. It doesn't have to be accurate or anything, just darkening the edges. And I'm trying to do it without smearing everything right now. That's what happens when I don't have a patience and I want to move on to the next phase. Where I think it needs more, I just go in a little bit more. As I said, this is not an exact science or anything. Do what feels right for you. Yeah. So I think I'll let it be for a few seconds. And I already made a focal point. I took this and I cut out this cat out of, and I feel it needs a little bit more color, so I'm doing what I've showed you before, putting down a little bit of acrylic paint and just going over and adding a little bit. And maybe I will add a little bit of orange to the mix. It doesn't have to go all around. Yeah. And well, we'll see. For right now, I am leaving it, and I have a white spot here that I don't like, but I'm leaving it because I think that maybe I'm going to doodle on my cat, and it's going to go here. And I'm thinking that I want to decorate a little bit more my cover and do something more than the cat, maybe some flowers. Not sure. I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be back. I'm back. So here is my cat, and I've made my life easier and just took a punch. This is a 3-inch size punch, and punched a bunch of flowers, and I've got the same one, only in smaller scale, and I punched more flowers from just this, well, I don't know if you can see, but it's gold paper, and I'm going to glue them down. I'm still debating if I want to do some doodling or Zentangle on my cat. I quite like it how it is, and I don't know, we'll see. First I'm going to glue down my flowers. That's what I like with this kind of project. Each piece is unique. Let's see. Here I'm using, this is silicone glue. You don't have to use silicone glue. It's my go-to glue. I really like it. I was told that, I know there is the Yoo-hoo glue that comes in tubes. It's also a silicone glue, and where is it? Here it is. This is a silicone glue, and also I was told that there is a Eileen Tacky glue, the clear one, that is supposed to be also like this, but as I said, you really don't have to have this kind of glue. And now I'm just playing around with what I've got. it really doesn't matter, and I can continue and embellish everything, the flowers, the cat. But I really wanted to show you what you can do with magazine pages. I'm turning it and putting down more flowers. Here we go. I'm trying to be quick about it. I don't have a lot of time left on my camera, on my phone, to make this video. So, as I said, trying to be quick. So basically this is it. That's my project, and I really hope you will use what you have and have fun with it. And of course, as I said, it doesn't have to be magazine pages. If you want to use all your stash of painted papers or even scrapbook paper, whatever you've got and you feel that needs to be used, just have fun with it. So here, just one more, and yeah. So I think that I will do some doodling here, and I'll come back just for a last shot, so you will see what happened, and I'll be back. I'm back. So I've punched more flowers from some painted paper I had and put these flowers on the inside of the larger ones. And now I'm, instead of doodling on top of my cat, I just took the backing of a paper napkin and I stamped on it. And now for using it, you just dip a paintbrush in water, go around like this, and just take out the piece like this. And I want to put it here, so what I'm going to do is take some white glue, again cover it nicely so I won't miss a spot, and putting it here, moving from the inside towards the outside, smoothing it and let it slide on the flat of the brush. And now this only needs to dry, and I've got interest on my cat, and I think I want a little bit more here, so I'm just placing it like this and eyeballing it and taking the piece I need, like so. Again, glue, putting the piece down. Not an exact science, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And you know it's good when you don't see more white pieces of the backing of the paper napkin. And right now it's still wet, so you can still see the edges, and when it's dry it's supposed to disappear into the background. So I'm going to give it a quick blast, and that would be it, I think. I'll be back. Yeah, so back, and this is it. That's my cat and my cover, and I hope you see all the details, and I'm really in love with this technique, how it varies and give you so many unique pieces. I think that I could also have done some line here with black permanent marker, but I'm leaving it as is. I really like this cover and what's going on here. I'm leaving it. That's it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.